No. Something.
Your favorite treat.
I got the impression that the experience before was a physical barrier that can't be driven through was the only thing that would stop vehicles from going through. That seems to have become a generally accepted premise, at least, of the idea of having a concrete center box rather than just a berm or something.
And the other idea was when you're coming down Ioko, you know how they've got the little posts, so the bicycles on one side, and then you've got those posts, and they're close enough together. Motorbike can't go through. Anyway, there's another thought. I'm just throwing ideas.
Dave, just to address the issue with the rocks, I think if it was going to be permanent, we'll leave that right now. It's a great option. You make a berm with the rocks in it, and I'm sure some of those people that are getting the advantage of not having all that traffic down there on the road would gladly. I know if Mary lived down there, she'd be out like a shot on that berm with Glen. There's a lot of people in the village that want Glen, but it's not permanent at this point, which is a problem. So for that reason, I would say no to the planters until we know. Also, we don't know that October is like a hard date for it being permanent. Correct? Did you say?
It was 6 months.
It was an arbitrary date that could pop.
Yeah. So my point here is we do have extra rocks if they would like to have the village like to use them. My landscaper is about to buy them, so if that's the case, you should consider it. But yeah, you're talking about probably 2 or 3 loads, some truckloads of dirt, which is about $600 a load delivered to Belterra. So even that option, just before you move rocks, is more than the option that we're something that we could use again somewhere else. So I would be in favor of that option.
I would suggest you leave it ugly until such time as you know whether it's going to be permanent or not. And secondly, if you do decide that it is going to be permanent, one option you may want to explore is making it, like doing it right, and building the ditch, so the ditch on each side matches up, so it's like a road, and there's a ditch there, and you have a little cul-de-sac turnaround then. So effectively that's what it is. It's a cul-de-sac turnaround. So do it right. Instead of building a barrier, return it to a road.
That could be better, like that. Yeah. Any other? I thought I saw it.
I just misinterpreted what he said. I just want to be clear. What were you suggesting? Did you misinterpret it?
Well, no. I was suggesting that once you decide if you decide in your heart it's going to be long term, then yeah, leave what's there now until you can say, okay, we know for sure. There we go.
Well, the last thing I want to say is that I do notice when I'm going down the road there that there's a lot of cars that they're turning around in the driveways at the end. What are they backing up the driveways and turning around? So again, all the more reason to have, you can make it a cul-de-sac, with proper turnaround so that people can get out of there, because they're still going to be going in.
There's already identified need for additional signage and even updating that intersection with more stop signs to make it safer and educate people not to go down there looking for parking. Yeah. And so there's an opportunity to just improve that without waiting for the permanent decision coming up in October. So that's an identified area. There was one more hand up, I think.
I had my hand up, but it was with regards to that, just saying we are supposed to be getting a big sign at the bottom of the freeway where the freeway stop is directing park traffic into the park. Is that correct?
Where did you say the bottom of where?
Like it's, you know where the freeway stop is going into the park? Are we supposed to be getting a big sign there that directs all park and trail traffic into there, which will hopefully stop people from coming into the village?
Yeah, so that's on the go. Apparently the person was on the go.
And I had a meeting with Parks on Thursday, and I saw drafts of the signage that will go into the three hotel. So they are working on it.
You're talking about the one by Constable, right?
Yeah. Wait here. Go this way.
Yeah, I think Deborah was referring to the one at Nittany Road and
No, I was referring to the one at
the one there. Okay.
So we are nowhere really, like, nothing percolated to the top, and it's an obvious thing yet. So we have a couple different options. We have leave it the way it is. We have do a temporary fix with the nicer new concrete barriers that we know will be reused, and that the physics, we have something permanent, and then do it right when it's permanent. Or go hardcore and do it permanent now and have the risk of it not being permanent, having a bunch of planter boxes that we don't have a lot of need for. Can we discount number 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wait.
Just being a council, you're gonna argue every one of them, so, yeah, I wouldn't discount 3 though.
So you still like the idea of going sort of whole hog on making it nice right now?
Well, yeah, as I say, what if you decided to make it permanent tonight, and then you would open that option, right?
So one more thing that's worth context, if we don't make it permanent, we have to repair that road. And if we want to repair for big trucks, it's $300,000, or we expect the wallpaper to wear out a lot faster because the big trucks are the highest wear and tear, which is part of the negotiating position with Metro Bank. So it could be up to $300,000 to repair the roads just for those big trucks to be able to turn around on if we want that road to last. That's a proper fix, not just the wallpaper. So that's what comes out of having to open that road up again.
But the big trucks are gonna come in with drop.
Sorry.
Just wait. Yeah. Yeah, on the issue of closing now, I think we should discuss it because, as I say, the October deadline is completely artificial. Does anyone believe we're gonna learn something between now and October that we haven't already seen? You're gonna see heavier traffic through the summer, but we've started that now. The kind of turning around that you're noting, Donna, I presume will begin to be reduced as people get experience with it, but then the signage goes up. Yeah, and signage goes up. See, I'm not suggesting we make a permanent decision now because it doesn't seem to rush that kind of thing, in my opinion. But I just think we shouldn't spend money that we wouldn't have had to spend if this was October instead of June.
The only thing I could see that would sway me is if someone comes in and wants to name that road instead of mid road, they want to pay the $300,000 so that we can get it done right. Or if TransLink comes in and says, no, we'll put the bill to fix that road. They've already twice denied that in the last 8 months application, so that's unlikely to happen. And without having the capital available and the positive feedback from residents on having that road closed, I don't foresee that opening up again. We could be surprised, but it was an unexpected degree of positive feedback about the closure of that road, far beyond what we ever expected.
I agree with that, and it does open one other possibility. You could say, like, I think it's unseemly to decide tonight, but you could say, look, let's decide at the end of July, in which case you leave the ugly barriers that are there now out because it's not that long.
That could just, because on the ball, where else can we use those barriers and how quickly?
Well, there's lots of places along Bedwell where people have had concerns about cars going off the bank.
And marine.
And, well, marine, for sure. So, there will be other applications for barriers in the village.
You know what, I just think, whether we put them there right now or we if it's possible for them to do. As far as the trucks turning around, we just built at the end of Marine, and a tandem truck is just not an option because they really can't get around the corner at the top of Marine. Most areas that have cul-de-sacs, tandem trucks, in fact, could not get in, and they just don't bring them, or I've seen them up at that lake where they run back that far to unload their trailer. So, for myself, though, I do believe that if we're going to use these anyway, going forward, then personally I see no reason not to get them now because they are going to be used and will be used right away.
Okay, please go ahead, but then let's start the one about that.
Yeah, no, I understand. I accept that argument. I think it's a very good argument, but I just want to be sure you don't object to the $5 or $6 grand that we put in the gardens later on because we already spent $2,500.
Well, I would say we use the barriers to where Bernie can use them and we put a berm and if there's any rocks.
The context is good. We're going to be investing $2,500, but I know there's a place that even the fire trucks worried about turning around at the end of Marine, where if you go over the bank. So there are some places where those things would be safe, and really tight turnarounds.
I don't know if we can use them. I'm not really.
Can I just, I suppose by virtue of my title, for a first vote is what I would propose is I will.
How do we get?
You have a motion on the floor, your worship, so you should vote on the.
Oh, actually, surprisingly, the motion actually is exactly what I was looking for. So I am proud of the village, and I take pride in how the village looks, and having those crappy blocks up on the 2x4s that will never be wasted by buying better barriers. I prefer to see better barriers that people don't think are an eyesore and don't represent, I think, the pride that the village has. So I would propose that we stick with the motion, but that's why we're in council.
Yeah, and I'll second that motion on the understanding that Rob cannot argue.
I heard your second.
I was happy for it. I'll just remind him of it on October.
If the motion has been seconded.
Okay, so all in favor? All in favor? Thank you, none opposed, motion carried. Thank you, everybody, for your feedback. I hope you guys recognize we take it very seriously. All right, 6.1.
This is a written report that he brought back. At our last council meeting, I did a verbal report, and we deferred it to this meeting for more public consultation. We didn't have to have a separate meeting about it because it being posted on an agenda, it becomes public information. So this stems back from, for those of you who aren't aware of it, earlier in the year we had the cement stair improvement on Marine Avenue, which is a report, and with a recommendation to extend the existing cement stairs. And there were 3 options, and they are already presented in our OCP. And one was there were 3 areas in Belterra, and there's one on Marine Avenue at West Road, was the one that was more favorable because it's more direct speed access. After much consultation with many residents by phone, by taking them down there, looking at it, my own personal feeling is that I don't feel that the extension of the stairs is required. If anything, I think there should be a metal barrier at the bottom of the cement stairs, the existing cement stairs, which are still in good order, and the handrail is in good order. And the reason for the cement barrier would be because of the 3-foot drop from the last step to the ocean floor with the safety factor. But a much more ideal location, in my opinion, was 100 meters into the bay. There is, right through the park, there is already beach access. The point of the stairs in the first place was to provide more beach access to visitors and residents. And I think that we don't need to spend $10,000 on this project, that there's already flat access directly through the park gate. And I took my measuring tape down there, and I measured it up, and it was 100 meters. So I think everybody's had a chance to read the written report. So that was my recommendation. That a sign be installed near the stairs on Marine Avenue directing visitors towards the yellow gate, which will indicate beach access. That a metal barrier be installed at the bottom of the cement stairs on Marine Avenue West at approximately cost about $500, I was told by Public Works. Together with 2 additional signs, one at the top of the cement stairs and one at the bottom of the stairs facing the beach, which indicates private access for Belterra residents only. So they are Village of Belterra property. It's not a village, they're on my area now.
Can I ask someone to move this? Second? Thank you. So, lots of chance for discussion. Your hand up, Lauren?
Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment. At first, when we started talking about this, back when we were doing the budget, I went down there and I realized that Lisa Bishop, the one who said, we petition this, and I realized that she wasn't very, I guess, happy with the 10,000 being sent on those stairs. So I went there and I took a look for myself. To me, it's a no-brainer. I don't think we need to spend that amount of money on those stairs. I think that that's a good recommendation. It's a 3-foot drop. is considered a liability, then just, just do the railing across. And there's a purchase fund path to, as you go down the stairs to the beach. And yes, and it's just a few steps away from where people can lounge their kayaks and to the left. So, yeah, I think that makes zero sense. I feel more comfortable going this way than spending $600,000.
Bruce, yeah.
No, only to confirm, yeah, that I've had a look at the site. I basically agree with what Lisa said with respect to accessibility. If it's marked for resident use, then it is possible to go down that set of stairs and very quickly access the beach. And our photograph showed you don't have to go the extra 100 meters. So it's saying if you're a non-resident, then you're recommended to go into the park area and have access. You can just a walk down the beach.
I have a couple of questions, I think, associated. First of all, we're removing one of the three accesses to Bedwell Bay.
No.
Not for residents, then.
No, not for residents, correct. Right, so, first of all, there, along that marine corridor, there isn't parking for the public, for non-residents, at all, anywhere along. I walked this as well on Father's Day to Jug Island, and there were many cars that were illegally parked along that area. And my question at this point is, we're going to direct non-residents to the park. So are the other areas, are we going to direct non-residents away from those accesses as well? Is my point at this juncture.
I think your points may be a little away from what we're trying to make a decision on right now. So we're trying to figure out the best use of stairs, not non-resident use right now. The proposal is clearly consistent with non-residents, just a 100-meter track the other direction. This is about just the decision on the stairs.
Okay.
And so if we could focus on just the decision on what to do with the stairs, non-resident is going to be decided after the fact, if that makes sense. Reasonable?
Okay.
Can I ask for a little bit more information from Bernie? I had put out a couple questions, just one in particular. 10,000 is an obscene amount of money for what would be 2 stairs. Were you able to come up with any more quotes on what might really cost to be able to add 2 stairs to the bottom?
I've got a lowball quote of 4,000 for wood to close to 14,000 for concrete.
I'm in the wrong building.
Can we just go down a couple of guys and a couple of strong hands and put a big lot on there?
And we still need permits for work rooms.
So that's additional cost.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I just want to make sure everybody has the picture. So 4,000 you're comfortable, whether it's right or wrong, that's the lowest cost solution. So
For continuing that.
So forget the 10 grand, at least if the materials cost is potentially 4 grand. I'm with you on the consultation piece, but it's not 10 grand, so as you think it through. And so with that in mind, can I ask the gallery for feedback before we keep going at this?
Can I make one more comment? That 10,000 came from the staff report when it was originally brought out, and it was $45,000 to do concrete stairs, it was $20,000 to do wooden stairs, and it was $10,000 to do metal stairs. That's where those dollar figures came from. Because it's not just the cost of the stairs, the product, it's the labor, the permit, port, Port Authority, I believe Ocean Fisheries as well. So all those added up is where those high dollar costs came from. And this was derived from that original staff report back in late January, where that 10,000 came from. I think.
No, I didn't think you made it up.
No, I know.
But I don't think anybody ever thought we spent 10 grand on it. It was a number in the report, but it was not something we were ever really considering. I don't think anybody was going to say, okay, 10 grand for those 2 steps.
Well, I think it's more than 2 steps, and I think that was the
That was the staff number, but that doesn't mean we were actually going to do it.
and that's why I asked it to be deferred. That's why I asked for it to be deferred.
So what is the number? What is the number?
4 is the lowest, but then there's going to be costs associated for permitting stuff now.
And it wouldn't stairs, right?
And don't be swayed by the fact that yes, it's true, a couple of strong guys can move a couple of rocks there. which is just the more fascinating part, because that's not an option.
So, yeah,
Well, I think the biggest factor is regardless of what you would spend on stairs, those stairs would then have to be upkept by the village as well in
They do anyway.
continuity.
They do anyway.
So there would be more cost if the village did that. So that's why I think the wisest thing would be to do the metal barrier and direct people to the other one and just leave it, and they've got less cost and not have to worry about it.
Barry?
There's one thing I'm not understanding, and that is, if we put the barrier at the end, so the main reason would be for safety, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
So if you say it's okay for residents to use it, but not non-residents, is it safe or isn't it safe? So if a resident, tries to skinny their way down and they get hurt, like I just don't understand the difference.
There's a path. There's a path that's been created already to the beach. At the bottom of the stairs, you turn right, there's a path that takes you right to the beach.
Yeah, I understand that, but if the barrier's there and it's not okay for non-residents because it's not safe, why would it then be safe for residents?
It's not safety though, I mean, the issue
It's
is
not safety?
right there, it's non-resident because it's resident because for non-residents, it's only 100 meters to an access point. That's the line. It's not a safety issue. If you go down those stairs, you run into a barrier, which would make you think it's a rather strange design for such stairs, because it doesn't take you anywhere. But you're free, you can't go to the left because the barrier, so you can go to the right. That's a very short walk
Okay, now.
to an access point to the beach there. Maybe you will say 20 yards, 20. It's a very short
Not
walk.
even that.
I thought it was.
Less distance than we are in park. From where you get to on those stairs, when you hit the barrier, you just go to your right and you can walk on the beach.
But we've been finding that most of the residents that are down there now, they don't even use those stairs when they take kayaks or their canoes and stuff. They actually go to the park and that's where they go, and the residents do that. Because it's easy access, it's flat, and it's just like you walk. You could even put, like they do down in English Bay, it's that flat that you can put those mats down for wheelchair access to the beach. Like there's lots of potential, for more access to the beach.
We don't have control of that area.
Oh, right, yeah, I apologize,
We
yes,
can't.
yes,
So let's
I take that back.
strike that last.
I take that back.
thinking about that.
Just Judy would have that stricken from the record.
So if it's not a safety issue, why are we doing anything?
The way it currently is a liability / safety
Well,
issue.
but Bruce just said it's not a safety issue.
Once the barrier is up, if you walk down the stairs
Oh,
now
once
in the
you
dark,
put the
you fall off
barrier,
and
okay.
you drop.
3.5
Which would really be a bad idea for us. No, yeah, you have to have the barrier that blocks you going down the stairs and not stepping into
Falling
that.
off, yeah.
last wall.
Any other thoughts?
One of the things I just want to say, what was the cost for the permit? You were saying that there was, cost wrapped with the permit.
Bernie?
Permitting and with the monitor there is about $2,000.
And what is the permit, like where?
We have to go to to DFO, the port, and perhaps Ministry of Environment to get a permit, and then we need a monitor when we do the work. So there's 3 permits.
So I wondered why you would have to pay for that permit again when it was already done initially, because there were stairs placed at the bottom of the concrete?
The stairs were not put in by the village, and yet
Oh, yes, they were.
Okay, they were, but anytime you work on the beach, you need a permit, regardless of when other works are done.
And as evidence, the Midland Road, putting new rocks on what was already rocks, was already previously rock, it's $12,000 just to have the first indigenous on site, well, we put the rocks on again.
Cool.
So just to have access is, it's not a one and done, unfortunately, it's not withstanding, it's a few permit for each job.
So I really appreciate what you've been doing, and your comments and everything else. I think it's been great to take away that focus on that such a narrow stretch of the road. And turning around, I'm sure the Reynolds driveway and it's just a huge, just focus it back over by the gate will be really beneficial and improve the safety. Somebody was saying, well, Delcara versus public, And I think that addresses to get the boaters that are out in the bay, coming across to the other end and coming up, and that will save the riparian that there's not as much traffic, because right now, that riparian where you were saying the path has been worn down considerably, not because of the neighbors, not because of the people in the bay, because there are a very, very small percentage of the people that walk there. It's the numerous people that are parking their cars, or the boaters that come in and want to take their dog ashore or want to go for a walk and enjoy the environment, which they should. But if there's signage at the bottom that directs them over, that'll save the riparian, which is I think what we wanted all along, was not to have wear and tear on the riparian development. So I appreciate all that.
There's signs down below. I don't think.
I think years ago there used to be a sign,
Yeah, I don't think.
and then I don't know if it's called ivy over that tree where the sign used to be.
I don't think they're proposing a sign on the foreshore, so directing the boaters.
Yeah,
Yes, both.
on both sides.
At the new location.
And at the bottom, at the path.
Bottom of the stairs.
Yeah.
So villagers will still be able to see the
Yeah.
road coming up and getting from there. Okay, so if the voters come in halfway and they're used to using the stairs, then the sign is at the bottom of the stairs. Sorry, I anticipated the signs were gonna be north.
I think that's what Lisa was proposing, that.
Because no point having a sign at the top of the stairs that says no access, or just resident use only, private, and then but on each side there's nothing, right? Oh, here's the path, right? Yeah. And the other end is where the, through the gate, I mean, it's a lovelier beach too. It's
No,
green,
I've been down there once.
Yeah.
I would prefer that it said no public access.
Whatever the wording is, that
No
can be
care
done.
only.
That's for Stephanie.
And,
That's it, yeah.
There was another hand up, I think. The troublemaker?
Yeah.
Wait. Simple signs, sketchy access, use at your own risk. Done. Well, I will say,
No barrier.
as with everything we've been doing, at least with the new council, we've been learning as things go, we adapt after the fact. And if the sign isn't doing a good enough job, we'll look at new signage to try and support it and make it better. I'm aware of the Belcarra cottages, and Joe made a comment a number of times where she's having to block people coming up, and there is a sign on the foreshore. So I think we need to stay on it, and with feedback from residents, we can try to find new solutions if that's not working for us.
I know that the park has all the land and whether we lease it, I'm not sure what we lease out of that park yet. But if we're encouraging the voters to go down to that section that we were pointing out, is there a possibility that the village has any right to put a sign over there so that people can see where that path is?
We can request, and Parks, we've got a great relationship with Parks. I don't foresee, no matter who controls the land, I don't foresee any problem with having a sign put up somewhere else.
Because it's a lot of people that we speak to, who don't understand, well, where's that access? And then they come back and say, oh, well, that's amazing, but we didn't even know because it's all forested.
I thought that access was pretty, and I'm not trying to disagree, but that access is highly visible
From the water.
from the water. Oh, yeah,
From the
well,
water.
okay.
I understood that, part of our lease that we have with the tennis court, it goes all the way down to that, what I call the car top launch area, or most of you guys will know what, you've been around here for a long time, that's what it used to be called. And I think we have the lease all the way from the tennis court right down to the ocean, and
I didn't think so, Bernie, you're shaking your head.
No, we got a square one with this, but
Yeah, well, that's my impression.
Okay.
I've read that contract a number of times, just based on the multi court, and it was.
yeah, I thought there was a 2-acre lease that we had, which is the old boat launch.
No, but I don't foresee problems asking the Parks to put a sign there, but I don't believe that's our land anyways.
Okay.
So are we, Bruce?
You can never finish talking. Just an issue about, if we're worried about people that are non-residents going up through there, and signage, and if you have a sign on the beach as well, that simply says, access, 100 meters, Right.
But actually less than 100 meters when you go along.
Because of the curve, okay, 93 meters, any of it, you put a sign where people come up, and so they're not coming up through that area, but it's for Belcarra residents. My other point is, I mean, I think the signage should be clear as you're proposing that Belcarra residents can use the access. So I may disagree with Rob, well, I'm not sure. You're happy with that?
I'm just saying that, no public access is,
Staff will come up with the.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I just don't want residents to worry about use of issues this week.
Position description, the position description for this is not include wordsmith, we'll leave it to the experts on that. Any other comments from the gallery? All right, so shall we vote? All in favor? None opposed, motion carried. 7.1, this item was withdrawn from the agenda, so don't even ask about it. Number 8, there are 6 pieces of correspondence. Can I have someone move to receive those? Seconded, thank you so much. Was there any discussion around any of the correspondence? No? Everybody's good? Nothing from the gallery on the correspondence? All good? Check once, check twice. All right, all in favor? Motion carried. Any new business from council members? Moving like a green here.
Like a Thomas the Train.
Like a Thomas the Train. My kids would get that. So public question period. For those who look like they might be here for the first time, we obviously have questions throughout. But if you want your time on like this is all about you right now. So take a deep breath. Anyone have any questions? Questions also, by the way, not just comments. And if you can give your name and address, please. Sorry, I get used to the not quite as long. That'll help with contact. I'm sorry?
No, it's, yeah.
Name and address before you talk, young man. Exciting, anything?
No.
Okay. Is there any questions? There is a town hall on Thursday. I'll also remind you guys for other less formal questions and discussions, but this is a safe place. Deb.
And tomorrow night is, well, there is a revenue generating committee, but there's also Tuesday night, there's the Burrard Commons is having an open house at Anmore School to do with what's happening for potential
City Hall.
development in
Oh,
Anmore.
really? So, sorry, which Anmore school?
Anmore School.
The elementary?
The elementary. Oh, yes.
No, it's at the
City
Village
Hall.
Hall.
The Anmore City Hall.
At the Anwar Village Hall.
So that's, for those who don't know the background on this, there are 3 50-acre parcels that Burrard Commons is going to be developing in Anmore. It will change everything for Anmore, and we'll have to drive past it. The conversation has been, and so there'll be a little bit of impact for us. I have met with the developer as well. They have the right to do what they're going to want to do, but they are taking the position that they're looking for input. They're going to be looking for higher density, and they're probably going to make these 50-acre communities different levels of density as in their own communities with each 50-acre parcel. Once those 3-acre parcels develop, then they're going to make the application into Port Moody to try and redefine the Iowa Heritage Lands and that remaining 84 acres. So that's what you're going to have a chance to get some feedback on. It will be, I believe, the second open house. Okay. Any other questions, ideas? Oh, young man.
So the meeting last week, John, in regards to the water, 4705 Belcarra Bay Road.
Yeah.
Where does it go now with the water thing?
Sorry, I apologize. I got
The water recommendations, where does that go now? What's the next step?
So are you talking at the park?
I'm talking about for the fire capacity.
So we're not talking park connection that we just delayed tonight on the agenda. You're talking about where does it sit?
Yeah, what's the next step?
So we are in recommendations from the committee. We're in active and went further in conversations today. Let me back up for a second. You may have noticed that there is an RFP for an engineering firm right now that was announced and it's on our website. That engineering firm is the first project they're going to be working on is the plan necessary for the storage reservoir that we're going to need. Metro is going to help us with that as well. We were looking at the reservoirs during my tour today of the Seymour and Capilano dams and treatment plants, and what looked like an enormous reservoir, I was advised, is about a third the size of what we might need. And so it's entirely possible this is gonna be $1 million, $1.5 million reservoir, and where it's gonna go, considering the size of this thing that we're looking at, is staggering. So when we have guidance